Okay, so welcome guys to my Spark session. Wait, what? How do I switch the slide? Oh, there you go. Okay. So how many of you regularly online shop? Well, I'm sure most of us do. And if you haven't, honestly, just get out of here. Because what are you even doing? What are you doing on the internet? Okay, and how many of us have been scammed at some point in our life, or at least like felt scammed? Because again, I'm sure most of us at least have been scammed, and a couple of us like properly like serious scams. So here's how you might have felt. You might have felt powerless. You might have felt at a loss for words, no clue what to do, just no way out of it. And then you get overcome with like self-blame. You're like, oh my God, this is my fault. I should have known better. The company is right. Like they told me to beware and I didn't beware. And then you're just stuck there, just wondering like, what do I do about the new giant hole in my bank account? But what if I told you like there's actually light at the end of the tunnel? Like you are entitled to far more than you know. You've got way more rights than you actually think you do. But for obvious reasons, companies don't want you to know that. So this is because of what we call the power imbalance, which is essentially the idea that the trader is always more powerful. So because of this, the extensive mechanisms have been put in place to counteract this by the government, and these work in your favor, or at least they're supposed to. So firstly, terms and conditions. So these must be understood easily by the average consumer. I'm sure we're all aware of this, like the whole idea that terms and conditions shouldn't be too complicated. This is a simple one, but it gets better, yeah. Oh, by the way, this picture is just an example of like what terms and conditions should not look like. So there's the fairness principle. Essentially, every term in the contract must be fair, and this is quite a generous test. Essentially, there is a lot that can be considered unfair. So anything that is considered to be like taking advantage of you is probably unfair. And honestly, if you feel taken advantage of, you probably are. And what is with unfair terms? Basically, if there's any unfair term, that term is automatically invalidated and it's not considered enforceable. So whatever that term says, you just don't have to do what it says. So it's the idea that like just because somebody tells you they're gonna kill you and they let you know that and they're like, yo, I'm going to kill you tomorrow. Just know that doesn't mean it's okay when they actually come and kill you. And then third of all, there's the right of return. So essentially anything you can buy can be returned. Don't listen to people who tell you that like there's no returns or whatnot, can't return it, or like 3-day returns or paying a return fee or whatever, because that isn't a thing in real life. So this on the right is an image of a hot chocolate I bought once, yeah, and it had no chocolate inside it. It was just plain milk. And I would have returned it. I would have been allowed to return it, yeah, because that's not legal basically. But I was too far away, so I just couldn't be asked. So where are these kinds of remedies when we actually need them? Essentially, the key word here is unenforceable. So most of these terms are unenforceable. What that means is that they're allowed to be there. They're allowed to exist in the contract. But when it comes to it, like if you fight it, if you like actually go to the court, they won't uphold that term. But unfortunately, most of us don't have the money, resources, the legal knowledge and stuff to be able to go to the court in the first place. And we'll just take our L, we'll just be like, okay then, which is why we get taken advantage of. So essentially, it's merely like an optimistic deterrent to tell companies like, yo, don't be mean if you can. It's kind of like when the supply teacher says, Johnny, stop being mean to Jackie. But then we all know Johnny's still going to be mean and nothing's going to happen. He's going to suffer no consequences. And Jackie is still not protected from Johnny. So essentially, in this world, yeah, evil always gets away scot-free. And why is this the case? Essentially, it's just not profitable to protect everybody in society. There are organizations such as the CMA, which is the Competitions and Market Authority. And what they do is like on the macro scale, they try and like bring about greater change in the economic world, but they'll never deal with like individual cases. If there's like a case of like 1,000 people that got scammed by the same company, they might try and step in and do something, but usually there's no help available to you. So yeah, essentially, yeah, most people don't know their rights and can't afford to seek help, which is why nothing will ever change for you, unfortunately. Because it's a cruel capitalist world we live in. Everybody is out here just for themselves. So what now? What options are available to you? Well, essentially, awareness helps. Like just the fact that you know about this, just like understanding your rights and knowing when they're in the wrong and not you helps a lot. And it lets you tell them like, yo, like, I know you're taking advantage of me. This is not legal, and you can like cite this dispute or whatever, and that'll make them at least think you know what you're talking about, and that will put them under pressure to start behaving. Or you can just pull out the I'm a lawyer, my dad is a lawyer, my granddad is a lawyer card, and then hopefully they'll get scared of you and like just listen to whatever you say. I've done that before and it's worked, and it wasn't even true. So, and then your third option is just call Ubayd. I'm always here, yeah, guys. Always here for you guys. Rate of 20 pounds per word, and I'll give you some discount. Yeah, I'll give you student discount if you're still a student. Otherwise, you can get broski discount, 10%. The end.